Effective today, requiring all counties to close their indoor activities, their indoor operations in the following sectors: restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms, movie theaters.
How do you feel about that statement? Actually, it doesn't really matter what we think anymore. But that was made by a state governor at a state capital. And just like there are good governors and bad governors, there are also good and bad state capitals, at least according to data. Each state has a capital. They all have some pretty buildings, and they hold a bunch of politicians that tell you and I what to do. Some of these state capitals are super great places to live. Sadly, many are not. Today, we're going to discuss the worst state capitals in the nation. We'll keep politics out of this for the most part, but politics is a reason so many of these places are bad. After all, the way you run your own city reflects on your ability to run your own state. For the analysis, we're going to talk about each state capital's affordability, the local economy, the quality of the schools, the crime, and things to do. And in the end, we'll also talk about the best state capitals to live in, because I'm cool like that. Let's get started. If you want to live in a place somewhere where you might as well say that I don't want to vote for this crap, this is not a place where I'm proud. All right, good. So we're going to tour some of our state capitals, so we should probably tour them in a fitting way, right? Now, governors of states aren't like presidents, so they don't usually travel with an escort. Some of them do, but some governors drive themselves in their own personal cars. That's awfully humble of them. But we need to get started with a bang, so we'll arrive at our first stop in a motorcade. Hi, everyone. I see you waving. Thanks for all the votes. This is Harrisburg, the capital of Pennsylvania. Of all U.S. capitals, Harrisburg has the highest unemployment rate of all. That means this capital city is struggling in many ways. 9% of people are out of work, which is double the state average. The average Harrisburger earns less than $20K a year. The U.S. poverty rate for a family of 3 is $21,000. Because of these economic numbers, the Harrisburg economy gets a big fat F from one somewhat reputable source. Crime-wise, it's a mixed bag. A while ago, Harrisburg was the nation's 20th worst place for violence, but things have improved here quite a bit, so that's great news. And by the way, there's a difference between capital with an A and capital with an O. Capital means the city for the government, and Capitol means the building where they meet. You probably didn't know that. The Rhode Island state capital, Providence, is a pretty low-key place, so we're going to travel in a regular car because we don't have an ego. I mean, it's Rhode Island, right? Why is Providence such a crummy state capital? Well, being poor isn't a bad thing, but a city where income levels are super low is a sign of other problems. Poverty creates other secondary issues. Here in Providence, people earn the second lowest household incomes of all other state capitals. As a result, crime is super high here, and many have described Providence as, frankly, run down. The roads in Providence are notoriously terrible too. In fact, Rhode Island ranks as having the worst roads in the nation. Potholes all over the place, fella. Look at these numbers across the board. All D's and F's, except amenities A+. What's there to do for fun in Providence? Well, let's see. Okay, there's some theater, some shopping downtown, lots of coffee houses and bars and arts venues and restaurants. Good for you, Providence. Maybe you're not so bad after all. Now, Arkansas takes a lot of punches to its chin, and deservedly so at times. It's not just the outright poverty in Little Rock that's eye-opening. It's the abundant crime here, pal. Little Rock is the most dangerous of all state headquarters. Or should we say Arcopolis? Because Arcopolis is what Little Rock was originally called. That's actually way better. No matter what you call this place, it's also the 5th unhealthiest when you measure all state capitals. That takes into account obesity levels and sheer lack of exercise. That's not much different than much of the poorer areas of the Deep South, so that's not surprising.
Did you know Little Rock is the birthplace to the cheese dog?
Huh, cheese dog? A hot dog with a molten cheese center? That's interesting. Kinda. Mappy. Hey, so why are places like Little Rock and other places in the Deep South so overweight?
These maps show that southern states don't eat fruit and vegetables.
Well, that doesn't make sense. Produce isn't very expensive.
Southern comfort food is high in fat and carbs. That's how it always was.
Okay, you didn't answer my question, but this is about state capitals, not food, so we'll move on. Sorta. Thanks, Mappy. Speaking of the South, we're not going too far away to Jackson, Mississippi, a struggling state capital. Jackson's worst qualities are the high poverty levels and low job outlook. Of this city's 164,000 people, nearly 30% live in poverty, which is sad, and that's more than twice the national average. That's mostly because 1 in 10 people here is out of work. Why aren't there jobs here? I mean, at one point, Jackson had the highest jobless rate in the country. Well, a big part of the problem is that a lot of people here don't ever finish high school. 83% of kids graduate, which is 6% points lower than the US average. But the bigger problem is the college graduation rate of 26%. The national average is 10 percentage points higher. But clearly, you don't need a formal education to find success in Jackson. Look at this list of stars from Jackson. Cameron Harris, a dancer. Sanjay Williams, a dancer. Tamia Whitaker, a dancer. Leanne Rimes, hey, I know that one. And then there's Lil Lonnie, a rapper who died in a drive-by at 22 years old. So sad. We're still in the South. This is Montgomery, Alabama's state capital. So sad that this once proud place and home to a major civil rights movement is in the bottom 5 in 3 categories. Montgomery is a very unhealthy place, ranking 3rd from the bottom for economic well-being, 3rd in premature deaths, and last of all state capitals for number of healthy residents. You might be saying, is an unhealthy place a bad place? Not necessarily, directly. Lack of healthy eating leads to stress, lack of motivation, lack of sleep, and as a result can result in mental distress. And that leads to substance abuse, which leads to crime. One clickbait article proclaimed this dire headline: Montgomery is broken. The op-ed opines that the crime, the stupid violence, the broken school system, the unwillingness of business to locate there, and the fact that so many people are fleeing Alabama's capital are ominous of this city's future. And a big part of the problem today was this city's history of classicism, which separated rich white people from the poor black ones. And I'm not going to talk about that topic. That's way out of my league, and I don't need to be called bad names in the comments. You guys debate it below. Hartford is not like the rich, successful part of Connecticut, though. It's the opposite. Hartford has a terrible public school system, and as a result, the 2nd lowest college attendance rate. Many people have wondered why Hartford's a bad place, as is evident by the Google autocorrect results. Why is Hartford so poor, dangerous, bad, broke, but insurance capital? Back in the day, Hartford was a great location for merchants because it was located along a major river and near the Atlantic Ocean. So they formed a big insurance company here to protect their interests. Over time, things grew, and now Hartford is home to more than 100 insurance companies. But that's changing. Something is wrong with Connecticut, local leaders claim. Insurance giant Aetna left because they wanted to broaden their access to innovation and talent to fill positions. Translation, the people we need don't live here. The New York Times asks, what's the insurance capital without Aetna? Hartford's spiraling down, and other insurance companies are leaving too. Connecticut, because of Hartford, may not be the golden boy of New England much longer. Oh man, we're back in the deep south? One more time? We're in Louisiana's state capital, Baton Rouge. Now, we already talked a lot about unhealthy people, so we won't dwell on that anymore, but I will say there's a reason they call this Baton Rouge. But we can talk about crime, though. After Little Rock, Baton Rouge is the most dangerous capital city, where people have a 1 in 15 chance of being the victim of a violent crime or having something stolen from them every single year. That's pretty much everyone on every block here. And if you didn't know, Louisiana has by far the highest incarceration rate in the nation. Hey, it's our first and last time out west. This is interesting. Many people might think Las Vegas or Reno are the capital of the state of Nevada, but they are not. It is Carson City. And since we're in Nevada, we should definitely travel to the state capital in style. And no, there are not escorts on board. At least they said they're not escorts, but they were awful nice at the airport. You may not know a lot about Carson City, and you're not alone. Outside of Santa Fe, the capital of New Mexico, there are less people moving to Carson City. All right, it's getting down to the wire now. Who is our runner-up for worst state capital? Charleston, West Virginia is. Now, West Virginia is probably our most challenged state. Okay, so to be fair, there is some desirability to living in the middle of nowhere, One author at a kinda decent website says there's many benefits to living in arguably the most obscure state capital in the nation. It's really cheap here, the author postulates, where a $65,000 home gets you a nice neighborhood. The taxes are low. Okay, so that's pretty much it. It's cheap. Maybe West Virginia's state capital isn't so bad. And I wanted to say thanks to the hardworking folks here for providing us with energy to keep our country running. May you all find your next careers with ease. Hello, West Virginia coal miners. Let me thank you for your time. And then there's Trenton, New Jersey. This is a really bad place to live, folks. Sorry, not sorry to Trentonites who are Trenton proud, but come on, it's not even close. Trenton is our 4th poorest place, ranks 4th for the unemployed, 2nd in poverty, last for college graduates, and 3rd worst for education. And the crime is pretty high as well, as in 205% above the national average high. And to top it off, Trenton has the 3rd fewest things to do of all other state capitals. There are rundown buildings all over, entire neighborhoods falling apart, and potholes everywhere. Gangs, killings, drugs, addiction, bad schools, it goes on and on. Definitely not a good place to raise a family, and an embarrassment for a state capital. Really? Is there a solution for Trenton? I don't know, move the capital somewhere else? If you have a solution for fixing our nation's worst state capital, let us know in the comments below. So that's it. The worst state capitals in America. The places that are the hubs of government in their particular states, which is just sad. And now, as promised, here are the best state capitals in America, the places that do have it all figured out. Now, the only way to really change things in this country is to vote. And sadly, the places that we talked about are terrible places in their states, and you think they would have it figured out, and they don't. But that's just the way it is. But don't be sad. Here's a beautiful song to brighten your day. If you want to live in a place somewhere where you might as well say that I don't want to vote for this crap, this is not a place where I'm proud. Governor, why is this a dump? You live here, why can't it be something that we all can take some pride in? Our capital is a has-been. Governor lives in a big house in a mansion that we pay for, and we have crime and no jobs, and our people are so poor. Governor lives in a big house in a mansion that we pay for. The streets are bad, and so's the schools. Come on, fix your own damn town. Look out your window. You live up there. Can't you see? People are tired of it. You're gonna get voted out of office. Maybe not, actually. Probably. Hey guys, if you learned something new about America or what it's like to live in America, great! You should think about subscribing and turning on your notifications. You can also click one of these videos or playlists for more. You can also now buy my songs on iTunes and other formats. Click the link in the description. Thanks for watching. And remember, while we all might have different views, we should all be nice to each other and try to make the U.S. a better place in a positive way.
This is Sage, Nick's manager. This has been a Corner House Entertainment production.